Hi everyone, my name is Ola, and today I will be taking a look at a very cheap acrylic marker set that I got from Amazon. I'll be unboxing it shortly in the video, but this is the set. It is by Betim and it had 24 colors with dual tips. Let's see how it performs. So I found these markers on Amazon. I was just looking for affordable markers, and these popped up, and they were $9.99. It's currently seems to be the same price. It says they are 17% off, and they had a fairly high rating. So I am opening the box with a ruler like a crazy person. And as you can see, the markers are all in there, arranged in a random order. I decided not to swatch them, just test one out. So I randomly grabbed the pink one and I'm testing out both ends. And so far, seems like so good. So let's grab the coloring book. So for the coloring book, I am using Creative Paula's It's the Little Things, which has been a coloring book that I actually think I'm going to finish, which is pretty exciting. I've recently given myself permission to go out of order, so I'm just picking the images I really want to work on. And for this one, I really wanted to do the bears on the river because I figured I could try out the different blues to create the waves and see how it all works. I'm definitely liking the dual tip function because they allow me to get around all the smaller items. And I like that I can actually use that white marker on top of the blue and it's showing up. If you see, I'm adding some detail to the river and it's popping. As I'm continuing on the river and finishing it up, I run into my first and pretty much only problem, which is that one of the blue markers I'm using is already drying out. This is the first time they are fresh out of the box, and I think this thing has 6 stripes on it, so each one gets 2 stripes of the river. And one of these blues is already dying out and becoming really, really scratchy. The rest of the drawing goes smoothly. I get to test out different colors with the greens for the bushes and then the flowers. And you can see I'm doing little dots on the bushes to just color them up, see if the colors layer. Painting the bears and their little peach floaties was a lot of fun. And ultimately, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Look at it. It's cute, right? And again, this is like, I'm kind of easing into working with acrylic markers, and this is a fun illustration. So why am I complaining? I'm going to do this right by the mic and see if y'all can hear how scratchy this piece is. Compared to this pink one, which feels still good. And actually, as I say that, this one seems like it's scratched out as well. Let's try the other end. The other end on the pink is smooth, and on the blue is fairly smooth, but it won't last for very long. Like I said, the blue one is already dying, and you can see the scratchiness in the blue right there. So I've done a few more things to test this out. I did this one. It is mostly done with those markers, except for the little details in the stripes. This one, mostly in markers. The background on this particular piece is watercolor. I've also created this piece, which again, fully in marker, and I quite like how this one turned out. I think the colors layered okay, and part of it could be this is my fault. But you can see that this doesn't like fill in really nicely, and the color remains a little bit streaky. I also did a piece in my sketchbook where I swatched all of these, so every single marker from the box is used in this background, and then put the little bulldog on top, also inspired from one of the sketches in Creative Paula's book. But as you can see, this is kind of nice and interesting background. The colors are all vibrant, but again, I know they're going to die quickly and they don't go on very smoothly. So right after that first blue marker died, I contacted the company on Amazon and requested a refund, which they were kind enough to grant that refund. And it's one of those just drop it off at a Staples by a certain date. However, I am willing to give these markers another chance because, like I said, I have been using them in the coloring book. They're working sort of okay. So I'm going to do one more test, which is I painted this piece for the Craftist Advent Calendar. And I don't love how it looks. So I'm going to try to cover it with a background using the markers. And we'll see if it can cover over something that is this dark and metallic. I have no idea. Let's try it. I've decided to create just like a squiggly wavy design, kind of like I did in that bulldog sketch from my sketchbook, and just make these a little bit thicker so I can see how good the coverage is. I wanted to play with some pinks and purples, but focus at least a little bit on some of the lighter colors, again, to test the coverage. At first, I'm going through each color and doing it just one time. Then I decide to go in with a second layer. So every single color has had 2 layers of paint on it. After I am done with the base layer, I wanted to add a little bit more visual interest. So I'm thinking of it almost like a weave. So I am cross weaving some purple bits, and then I am going in with the same blue. This is just to give my background a little bit more of a texture. Finally, I decide to add something to it. I have a few stencils, so I decided to put the phrase, "Start the day with a smile." And I'm just using black for my lettering and then using the gold, or I guess yellow, for my highlights. And I think it's covering really well. So here it is, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of impressed. I was not expecting it to be able to cover. It would probably be even better had I done 3 layers. I've done 2, but it covered pretty well. The stencil went on. The yellow you can see is covering over the darker colors. So all in all, this is pretty great. So I think I'm going to change my opinion of these markers and actually keep them, because they're performing pretty well for something that costs $9.99. They took this painting from that dark color to something completely new. So that's exciting. So overall, would I say I recommend these? I would say proceed with caution. They are a cheap item. They're not great. But if you want some paint markers that are really affordable, I think these are a good way to go. I will link them down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.